Let's talk about 40K today.
40K today.
That is a comfy chair, sir.
I am very comfortable sitting in the chair of infinite souls.
How goes Canada?
We're under, well, Canada is a very large place, but where I am near Toronto, there is a lot of snow north of Toronto. I think Toronto never gets snow,
Look,
or gets very
I
little.
don't know why you
But
keep saying this because all of us know that everybody in Canada knows every other Canadian. This is a fact. I don't know why you keep denying this.
yeah, it's a well guarded secret.
It's Tim
That we
Hortons
entrust to the
and,
mooses.
and all the Canadians know each other. So
It's funny because I'm really Mexican, right, and English, and I've only lived in Canada for more than half my life, which is
I was
why
just about to say,
like Canadian.
you're not even a real Canadian.
I'm a I'm a clandestine Canadian. I'm just playing the long game.
It's a sleeper
If I
cell.
pretend
It's a sleeper
if I,
cell.
if I pretend to be one long enough, they will accept me.
We've got lots of stuff to talk about today. I'm going to jump into
Definitely.
some stuff. I might even change my. Do I want this Castellan? You know what? We're going to Vulcan. We're doing a little Vulcan today.
Vulcan, excellent,
So I'm going to do Vulcan as my background for 40K today, and
because the
then
topics are hot,
they're hot, steamy.
right off of the anvil.
Let's talk about it. You know what? I want to talk about the boys in gold, the golden bananas, as you will. Let's zoom on over and take a look at some katas.
Hmm
What do you
hmm
think?
hmm
Let's do this.
So custodies. We're talking about
Let's talk about
the
golden bananas.
golden bananas. Dip them in a custard and makes the custard dangerous.
And large,
And yeah,
large, big
but
old.
they previewed some of the rules. They were due to have a new codex, I believe, November, December, but it ended
Yeah,
up getting pushed
push back.
back because of supply issues. And so it's not going to be coming in till first quarter. Very similar to what happened with the Drukhari. Just everything seems to be getting pushed back.
Yeah,
Have they teased a little bit on a mechanic that the custody is going to be built around called the katas, which are essentially battle stances that if I were to compare them to anything, I'd say Necron command protocols. However, reading them, they seem to have a lot more variety and use,
yeah.
and like the ability to be better used other than like command protocols, which are very like
Well,
regimented.
it's
These seem to be a lot more fluid.
because you have a stance between one. Well, let's look at it. I'm looking at the Warhammer community site. Thank you guys for
Hmm
always putting up good stuff. Basically, in your command phase before, you're gonna set these down. You're gonna choose a primary, a
hmm
secondary, and a tertiary, and you
hmm
basically have to use them in that order. And each of them has two stances themselves, the
Yep.
katas. And I actually think some of them are very, very strong. Now you have to choose these before you know who goes first. So you do have to, similar to the
You have
Necrons.
to think ahead. However, what I liked, it seemed like you could pick like one of the two stances in the kata, but then you could either switch the stance or switch the kata
Yep,
to the
you
next
can either
kata,
switch this.
right?
Yep, let's just go to the
Yeah.
first one with Callistus. So stance one. Each time this unit advances, roll an additional d6 and discard one of the results. So you're basically looking to move up and engage. And their
Yeah.
second stance, each time this unit makes a normal move or advances in your movement phase, in your following shooting phase, it counts as having remained stationary. And that's pretty huge for all the sheer amount of
I
hurricane
really like
bolters and
that.
stuff. Yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
deal.
that's really neat. And that's the kind of thing where, you can definitely make that like a say an early kata, so like the primary one, like your first one, and then kind of and then when you like and you can choose to use the first stance, which is extra like advanced ones or whatever. And we have no idea what the strats are. We have no idea what the shield companies will do. We have no idea if there's going to be any synergy between like special rules and some of these katas. Because imagine if they had like a strat for advance and charge, or they
Charge,
had
yeah.
some way to do that, and then you could have your whole army like get an extra d6, or remaining stationary and being able to move, and advance, for example, and still remain stationary. Like, I'm pretty sure bikes are really fast, and then like getting up and then like rapid firing you with a bunch of hurricane
It's
bolters is
huge.
still not a bad thing to be able to
Movement's still
achieve,
good.
right?
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The other two katas here. Let's go to the second kata, or well, at least the second
Yeah.
they rolled out with is
Hmm.
Dekatari Tarai. Stance one. Each time an enemy, boop. Let's pop it up here. Each time an enemy unit piles in or consolidates, if it starts the move within engagement range of this unit, subtract 2 from the distance models that unit can move.
That's
That
so powerful.
it is. Yes. The funny thing is people were talking about this and they just kind of blew this
Yeah.
off. I went, dude, you
So
without a
powerful.
3-inch pilot, a lot of times you're literally making it so 70% of the art unit doesn't get to attack you.
It means that you
Ooh.
can engage units you have no business fighting and beating with like one model or a unit of 2 models.
Right.
And being like, I'm gonna clip the far end of your unit.
Yeah,
And
they fight with one guy basically. So.
You can fight with 2 guys
Yeah.
against my Custodes,
Yeah, it's just
because you're
crazy.
slow. Like it's sort of like that Dark Angel stratagem of like only fight for the first rank
Right.
or whatever. Now, however, you do have to sort of plan for it. You
Sure,
have to
but
like
it's very
pick the card at the right time.
right.
But that mechanic of like just stopping you from moving, like, or just making it really slow, is like that's a big
I mean,
deal.
think about how often you set up your charges just so you're barely getting there, and then you're moving
Yeah.
everybody where you want. That's
Yeah.
huge. And I think the
Mhm.
other one is very utilitarian too, because if you're playing, you want to kill all those gaunts. You want to try to make sure you kill every single Necron warrior. Basically, each time the unit fights, it can use this ability. If it does so, then until the fight is resolved, add 1 to the attacks characteristics of models in this unit, but change the damage of melee weapons they are equipped to 1. Perfect against. They say it exactly in the thing. It's great against Horde. If I want to kill a bunch of dudes, yeah, man, I'd love to use this and just go cool +1 attack.
Well,
on
they
everybody.
did. They previewed like the staffs or whatever the other day, right? The big Custodes staffs with the Stormbolter on it. They're like, it's +2 strength now, so your Custodes will be strength 7 against tanks, which is really cool. But there, I believe they previewed them being like 2 damage in combat. And if Custodes are what 2-3 attacks or whatever Custodes are, then being able to go in and have like an additional attack, like that's massive. Even if, especially against Gaunts,
I mean,
like,
it's
you don't care
Gaunts,
about the 2 damage.
dark,
It's like,
everything.
yeah.
Dark Eldar, even especially if you're going into -1 damage, Dark Eldar, cool. You were already taking my damage now. All right,
Yeah.
I'll just get another attack. The one that I love this one. I love the first part of the stance. I think it's dangerous. I mean, that is, you can do some damage with that. You can
See,
ruin
it's
a
one of
person's
those things
day.
where, rules like this are rules where players who are experienced and are more technical will use rules like this. Like, for example, like you or Sean Naden or Richard Siegler, like, you go into like these little technical things in the combat phase where if you understand the application of the rule, you will milk the hell out of something.
Oh,
like
it's
this.
huge. This is such
Yeah.
a crazy, not even just defensive. It's an insanity, just like you were talking. It's such an offensive, insane strat. You can catch people off guard defensively, but I'm looking at offensive views of this and just, like you were saying, hitting things that I have absolutely no business hitting and just going, those 2 guys can swing, you know what I mean, depending how your army looks. It's just, ooh. Let's talk about this
Or
last stance.
or say somebody charges you and you're like, oh, if they pile in and consolidate, they're gonna tag like my grav tank or my dreadnought
Right.
or this unit, and I need this unit to be free to move away and do
Oh,
something.
it's so
and,
huge.
And you can be like, no, you slow down now. No.
Now, I love
Yeah.
the Captares. I just like this because this is the one I feel like it's always going to be late because it's the I'm already in the thick of things stance. So stance 1, each time a melee attack is made against this unit, the hit cannot be re-rolled. And this is literally board
so
wide,
good.
man. It's so
good.
strong.
Especially when you're starting to like do some damage. Like every reroll you get, especially like late game, becomes like so powerful, right?
It's huge.
So chapter master, captains, archons, things like that like give you rerolls, and or anything like that, like even all the Drukhari prey on the weak or whatever. Once you've taken casualties, and then just shutting it down, being like,
It's
no,
just gigantic.
now it's Yeah, that's good.
So, and then the second stance, basically like being a witch with your custodes. Each time an enemy unit, excluding vehicle and monsters, that is within engagement range of any infantry units from your army with this ability selected to fall back, roll off with your opponent. Add 1 for them if your opponents roll, if they can fly. But if you win, they can't fall back, witch style. That is terrifying that a custodes army can grab some of your guys and go,
Well,
no.
the way that it works, you know, you have your primary, secondary, say tertiary kata or whatever, and you could literally go, like, you could have this as early as like turn 1 if you wanted it,
Yeah.
or you could have it on turn 2 if you put it in the first kata, or you could have it on turn 3 or 4 on the second. Like, I'm pretty sure that would be around that second turn, that second kata that you'd kind of want it there. But that with Custodes sounds like something that would throw people off completely, because you'd like run in and go, I'm just going to trap you now with my Custodes jet bikes or whatever, you know, try run away now, and then they cut them down in the next turn and then move on to something else.
Yeah.
You know, it's so powerful.
Let me grab some chats real quick on this, because I can't see chats when I'm showing you my screen. So that's the screen I'd be showing you. I'd just be showing you the chat. It is checked when you basically go to pilot or consolidate, not at the start of the charge phase. So that's why it's so nasty. So it's just a big deal, and it counts for the entire model or entire unit. So,
which is crazy.
Yeah, you can just shut down so much stuff. It's one of the most powerful. The things, there's really good ones. You have the regular hammers. You know, I can move and move faster. I can move and shoot. Great. Those are always going to be useful, but stopping people from falling back and inhibiting people's movements and their pylons consolidates.
Or changing the variants, right? So like
Yes.
changing the rerolls,
Right.
like, you know, and the efficiency of units.
It's very, very powerful. And
Yeah.
those are just things that, I mean, especially when you get to the top tables and stuff, those are things that you literally look at and go, who can do this and how can, and then you go, oh yeah,
I'll tell you right
the
now, the
board
last-
can do it. Whew.
Yeah, just because it's an army rule, right? And then of course, smart players or players who have a lot of forethought will be able to kind of pick these or put them in a location that they know is going to be the most useful based on the mission, based on the opponent that they're facing. And we don't have no idea how many of these there are.
True.
Right. They I think they showcased what, three of them?
Just three.
So who knows? What other ones they might be. And GW has a tendency of not even showing you the best ones.
Also true.
Whenever they show off rules, they tend to show you like the crappier ones.
You know what the thing is I really like more diversity in Custodes, because I think the Custodes are one of the fluffiest armies out there that does not even remotely get to play their fluffiness. You know what I mean? They've got some cool history and stories and stuff, and those dudes are literally giant heroes. They should have different abilities also, but they were talking about it. Super philosophical hyper warrior poets. They are. These guys are like literally the learned guys. They know the secrets.
Yeah. Like each one of them is each individual Custodes is like the equivalent of like a captain.
Yeah, they're
right?
literally
like,
all characters.
Yeah.
You just have an entire army of heroes. You're playing Hero Hammer, and it's pretty crazy. So I don't know. I'm excited for. I'm typically not a big Custodes guy as far as like what I want to play them, but I would love to have. And this goes to me being the ultimate paradox as usual of power gaming fluff guy. I would love to have an army that is all named. I would put everybody's name on bases and stuff. You know what I mean? And
of course,
have
if you're playing Custodes, you have like 3 models.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you can name 3 models.
So I'd love to have that. Then you basically have your book of renown that you have, your stories that you have on. Of course, I just put up a Harry Potter notebook, but the
Yeah,
but
leave it to Brett. I'm curious to see what they like in terms of releases and stuff. Like, they seem to be like Custodes are a very iconic army, so I'm very curious to see how they perform against like the meta lists, if that makes sense. You know, because historically they're very tough. They've got lots of wounds. They can do lots of damage. They tend to score secondaries relatively well and score high even in games that they lose, at least right now. So, giving them an oomph like this, some extra rules that help them against like those horde armies or against the armies that become hyper efficient with rerolls, things like that. I'm curious. It'll be good. It'd
I'm
be nice to see
I'm
them
fairly
like
excited.
in the mix.
Ooh, you know what I am excited for though? Let's go over to the thing.
Okay.
Let's talk about how I'm gonna make this Necromunda model fit in my
Oh
40K.
my goodness.
The
I think the guy that's like
big
selling watches or whatever out of his cloak, like he's my spirit animal.
I love the big fatty that's chopping up sushi.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's just like making slop with like some sort of like refuse that
Yeah.
grows off of like,
He's
in the
fantastic.
sewers of Necromunda. They're like, oh look, meat. Yeah. Reminds me of every sort of dystopian like undercity style
They
thing.
always have
If you
one
have
of those guys somewhere in the thing.
Yeah, if you ever watched, if well, any Star Wars thing too, like you watch like, no spoilers here, but watch like The Mandalorian or like any Star Wars, they go through like any walking through town scene, and they always have like the side vendors and
Yeah.
like or like fried like deep fried rat or whatever it is that they're
So
eating.
I don't know what I'm using one of these guys as, but this guy's selling stuff.
Depends what faction. What faction?
I don't even care. We all know that I play all of them, so I will. But these guys are.
Like
I really like these guys,
he'd be a good homunculus. Like just like a you just have to change the face a little bit, but that he'd make for a fun like homunculus.
and I love this dude just giving his sell on. What's up? I got everything you need,
He
man.
That's me. That was me for 7 years, selling shit out of the boot of my car.
Scary rolling up on you. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's right. So you're, yeah, that's how that works. That's really, I like him too because and we talked about, didn't we talk about this like last week or whatever? Necromunda models are
So good, so fun.
are incredible, and the range is. I feel like they get all the really fun ideas, and like this would be really fun to like create like this concept, and they got let's put it on Necromunda, and they don't really make like a whole 40K army about it, but it allows the sculptors and the people who are making models to get creative and then have like an outlet for them. And then of course they released the dragons, wasn't it this week?
Yeah. Did you see
Yeah.
the Altar of Wrath stuff for Black Templars?
Oh yeah, there was this new animation that they're doing for Black Templars
Yeah.
in the style of like the Blood Angel one.
Yep.
Which that if you haven't, I signed up to Warhammer Plus. I know I'm a Games Workshop like lackey, brown nose, which is fine. But I've really been enjoying Warhammer Plus, and the fact that they're doing like a Black Templar animation.
I heard that one of us had Black Templars from an early date.
That would be me. Yes, I'm a Black Templar fan. Even though Drukhari, I'm more known for playing Drukhari. Black Templars were my original army, and I recently got a full over 2,000 points Primaris Black Templar army done, which is exciting. So that's
The funny thing is I was going through armies last night because I was looking for models to go to Dallas with. Yes, So I'm taking some different stuff.
Grey Knights? You taking Grey Knights? Or are you taking Thick City?
I am taking the Brad version of Thick City, which has more garbage because I can't take only big stuff. I have to have my nonsense. But I'm also going to bring some Craft World. We're playing the exhibition games, and I've missed my Craft World a lot. And I was looking through a lot of the older models and stuff like that. But I looked at my old Space Wolves army, which was forever ago. That's when we were doing Space Wolf drop pods. So
back in the day, did you ever play the Space Wolf drop pods with the Fear of the Darkness psychic power?
Oh yeah,
remember that one?
Yeah,
it was like
cut the
drop
line,
it down
baby,
and make everybody run away off the table. Oh man, that was so.
Well, the thing
so
is,
silly.
I was going with when you're talking about making your Primaris army is I actually really once you start playing Primaris models and you look at the old little bitty guys, you're like, oh man, you guys look so tiny now. Like I have all of those old Space Wolves. I was like, aw.
Which is surprising that they released like that chaplain, that regular, that like normal size chaplain. They like re-released a normal chaplain,
a wee lad.
And I was like, why? Why would you do that?
dude. It's so funny on that.
Yeah,
Exhibition games.
Primaris are
Rumors
really cool.
confirms. Oh my. I say nothing. I'm just playing some games this weekend. All my games are exhibitions, let's be honest.
Oh, that's right. Especially when there's a crowd, you get to when you get to see Brad play. It's definitely an exhibition.
And I do talk to the audience a lot, as you saw me do. I do wander about quite a bit during my games.
Yeah. But I'm excited for this weekend, and that brings us to like tonight's word, which is the U.S. Open, happening this weekend. It's the final of the U.S. Open series. They did 4 events. Was it 4 or 3? 3 events.
3 Dallas.
Three events.
We did New Orleans,
And
Dallas, Austin.
Ziegler won
Orlando.
all 3 of them.
Yeah, he did well.
He
did all right.
decided to show Manny up and do and show him what Talos can do, and Grotesques. And it's this weekend. Do you know how many players are at this event? Because they're going to be streaming it on Warhammer,
Okay.
the Warhammer stream and
Both
whatnot.
days, Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be streaming, so it'll be great.
Nice.
I'm very
It's gonna
excited.
be good. How many people got
It's-
invited back to the finals?
I don't know on that one. It's very small. So it's just they took the overall winners and the top champions, and either champions or top 2 or 3, I think it was.
Yep,
So we're gonna be playing. We're gonna be playing some games. That's what we're gonna be doing. It's
that's
good.
exciting.
I like to play with different stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I have the attention span of a gnat, so I like to play a different army, or at least a different variation of armies all the time. And I like to have different models on the board. So I'm excited for all of these things all of the time.
Now, they also, in terms of releases, and because in 40K today we talk about a variety of releases. There's also some Lord of the Rings stuff that they're releasing, with the 20th anniversary, right, of Lord of the Rings movies.
Yes, they had well, they had everything. I had dragons, the Dungeons of the Dregs of the Underhive. They had some really cool stuff. I really like the dragons, by the way. I should pull those up too. Let's look at dragons before we do that.
They had the one dragon kit that makes one of the 2 dragons. You can do the angry one with the lightning burn all the way down his face, or you could do the other one that's a more friendlier dragon.
Yeah,
and then the mini dragon.
He's also got the big the giant medallion. He's kind of a pimp. He's like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm a baller. Look at my gauntlet. I got bracers, gauntlets, and
now
the big
they're
medallion.
making dragons out of plastic. They need to do exodites. Like they need to
please
suck it up and make an exodite army of elves riding dragons in Warhammer 40,000.
Don't get me started, because there are, if you look at some of the old stories, there are literally worlds on the Exodite worlds. And Scary is not just making this up on this. There's multiple stories where there's literally like dragon riders of Pern.
That's right.
That elves riding around on them,
like
on
with
their
shuriken lance, with like super, like imagine an army of like shining spears, but they're riding like dragons.
Yeah, they're riding dragons, so they're semi-feral, but also have graph technology. So,
correct. Yeah,
you're like, hey man, I thought those were a bunch of under non-tech primitives, and then a guy shot me with a bright lance. And while riding a dragon.
That dragon had lasers for eyes. yes, it did.
But I like that a lot. And we've got stuff coming out. We got the dragons coming out. We've got some of the. I'm trying to find the article on that one. The Middle Earth.
Yeah,
the movie.
Like I honestly feel like Lord of the Rings is one of those just iconic things that GW really kind of got into. I never got into the game though, but the miniatures are fantastic.
I like the game. I was surprised that it did not come out. We should just call him Flavor Flav Dragon. He definitely could be Flavor Flav on that.
Or the giant medallion.
His medallion is so big, dude. It's like as big as another person. What's up?
You like go around swinging it. You're like, this is my medallion.
He gets an extra attack for sure.
I don't need no dragon breath. I'm gonna stomp you with this medallion.
I love everything about that. But I saw like some of these. You know what? Screw this. We're gonna look at this dragon before we go anywhere.
I love the one with the lightning like burn all the way down his like neck and stuff. Like he's been fighting Sigmar and Sigmar got angry and was like lightning bolt, and he was like, I love that. It gives me the EBGBs and like literally makes like shivers go all down my spine whenever I see that sort of pattern on something. But it's still, I think it looks
these are
really
pretty
cool.
boss mode, dude. Pretty
Yeah.
boss mode. I'm not gonna lie. So
Yeah.
I need more ways to put my AOS stuff on the board. I agree, man. I agree. I'm actually surprised that the Lord of the Rings game did not take off more with as popular as Lord of the Rings was, and the rule set was actually pretty good.
I feel like it is more popular than we might think. Like every time I've seen events for Lord of the Rings and stuff, like they're packed, and there's like tons of players, and their boards are phenomenal.
I just
Like,
thought
they
that it would
just
be. I thought it
recreate-
would just be bigger than 40K with the fact that
okay,
it's
makes
just so
sense.
well known. You know what I mean? It's just
Right.
40K is
Yeah.
known. I mean, Lord of the Rings is.
And again, 40K has really kind of come to the forefront of like social discourse. You know, when you look at like movies and wrestlers and movie stars being like, yeah, 40K, and oh, that looks like a Blackstone Fortress or whatever. And like literally, like every mobile app you've ever played in your life is now like 40K related or whatever, you know? At least my ads know what they're targeting when they show
I
me
was just
all
about
that
to say,
40K.
they know what they've listened to you. They know.
Yeah.
Like, Redman, we
Yeah.
got this for you, buddy.
Yeah. Look, Wrath's Reach. I don't care. I don't want to play little mobile games. All my time spent playing with dice on a
I
table.
was to say,
What do you-
my
what
time
time?
is spent playing little games with little miniatures.
Yeah. What time do I have? I have no time. Yeah.
I'm actually pumped about this. What do you I don't know. I like the releases coming out. I'm actually very excited for
Well, there's the box set that's going to be coming out, right? So you're going to have that Custodes / Gene Stealer Cult
Gene
box
Stealer
set
Cult.
that
Yeah.
comes out. Like, and that alone, like they previewed as well a couple weeks ago that like Custodes champion guy, just like a Custodes Empress champion or something. He sounds like that would be pretty interesting, to say the least. Like that sounds pretty cool.
There's some really cool stuff coming out, and I think that there's going to
Yeah.
be. I'm not going to lie. I'd like to see a super converted up Custodes army, though. That's what I want to see. If you're going to play Hero Hammer, you should have like super customized, like Pimp Daddy, everybody looking ready to roll.
Well, it's a small enough model count that you could make every model unique,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
And you better that or you're just.
I'm just saying. I was at Du Bois 2 weeks ago, and the AOS guys like go pretty all out. A lot of just huge display boards, a lot of fantastic big models and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I'd like to see more of that represented in the 40K tournaments. You know what I mean? Just having more. Just there was some. I mean, and not like there's not some cool armies, but man, the AOS guys come to play when it comes to the hobby part of the hobby. You know what I mean? So no one in my local wants the GSC have. You gotta,
Well, then again, they're getting a new book too, aren't they not?
yeah.
Like
So
we don't know.
I was saying it might not be garbage for the GSC. All that stuff in
like-
there might be magnificent.
Like you're probably gonna have like somebody who's like gets it for chips, and then all of a sudden the codex comes out, and like who knows? For all we know, everything in that box is gonna be like stupid OP,
I mean,
and then they're gonna have to triple nerf them again, like they did last time.
it was funny because of the fact that remember when we got the Indominus box and you could literally just play Codex Indominus at the time because all of the new stuff was so good. It first came
So
out.
silly.
Woo.
Well, then literally you couldn't buy it anywhere because everybody's like, we want Blade Guard
Aw.
veterans.
They did.
You know,
The guys
was-
they did not take they didn't have the new stuff. They put the Brood Coven box and threw it in there. That's disappointing.
No, I think they added in that new Saboteur guy or whatever, right? Into that box.
I don't know what's
Like
in there.
a
I'm
new
not gonna
model?
lie. I was looking at the Custodes part of it to be
Like-
fair.
I think in terms of new stuff, I think there's only one new model for each faction in that box. The Saboteur and the champion guy.
Champion.
So you're
Well-
not exactly buying that box to get new models, other
No.
than those two models.
Well, unless you start
which is
playing,
the only,
unless you're trying to
yeah.
play that army for the first time, though.
right? But like I think Gene Steel Cult are still really useful. I don't understand. I don't know why people say they suck. Like Tyranids with Gene Steel Cult is still more powerful than just straight Tyranids.
Correct, right now, for sure, right now, without them having a book, 100%. For
Yeah.
one, blips are
Hmm.
amazing,
They're
and
so freaking good.
just having
Pardon my language.
random troops that can just show up is
And
pretty
3 inches away show up and stuff. Like it's just such a good toolkit to have. If you're a Tyranid player not using like blips and Gene Steel Cult, like
it's just
get
good.
out of my face.
All of the good. Why is Brett? Let's see. Yeah, that's true. You're gonna have all of those things. I do like things that are make it easy for people to get into an army. As a person that literally goes to a lot of armies all of the time, I do really, really like when they put in enough stuff where you can start your army with that box. You know what I mean? I think it's a big deal for that. Even though like a lot of you guys have all of it already, I think that if somebody's looking to start into a faction, because I pop factions around quite a bit, and I also share armies with a lot of my gaming group, you know what I mean, to be able to do what I do, which is to take everybody's models. But we have kind of a collective whole at that point in time, and I like having, if you buy a couple boxes, you can actually play an army. I do like when anytime. I mean, I go back to. The Indominus box was really good. The what was it? The Black Reach box where you have the Dreadnoughts and everything. That had a lot of bang for its buck.
Dreadnoughts.
Sorry.
Dreadnoughts. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, there was also like when the Necrons came out, there was one of the starter box sets that like point for point or cost to points was really really good and sold out like really fast. And I would agree with you. And last week we talked about all the releases for the big army sets, and we kind of discussed them in a little bit more detail. So make sure you check out that video if you want to listen to us talk about that. But I'm never gonna say it's a bad thing to kind of release like in twos. You know what I mean? Like two armies together fighting each other, because you're always gonna have someone who wants part of the box and someone else that wants the other side of the box.
Yeah.
Like it was the same with like the Drukhari one when they released Drazhar and the Incubi and
it's one of those things where, especially if you're getting, because I never want to be, the game's very expensive. So what I want I always want to get new players in, because we're not going to have a hobby unless we always have new blood all the time. So I do like when they have the boxes with two factions. And to be fair, you're going to have to probably get two boxes to start anything. You know what I mean? With any of those armies. But I do like it when they give you the useful models. You know what I mean? You don't want like obscure random stuff. You want the basis of your army anytime you get an army box. So I do like those a lot. If you want to go way back in for one of the boxes that I thought was very, very helpful, it wasn't even for it. Remember Space Hulk?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They had a ton of stuff, man, with the Terminators and all the Gene Stealers and stuff.
And not only that, they're still unique Terminators. You like individual, like posed Terminators that are their own Terminator. You can't get those sculpts anywhere else.
Yeah, I dig that. I like playing Space Hulk. Let's be honest.
That is a very hard game. On an related note, if you haven't played some of these weird, older inspired games, they're brutal. Like they don't want you to win.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They want to try and make you lose over and over and over again.
I love everything about this. It's only good for the new box with customs, and then GSC is only good for a starting player. With that being said, I'm splitting one.
And it's funny because as a player a player who's played for a very long time, even boxes like this that don't necessarily like have as much value to me as like when I would have started the game, if I need to get another unit or want to expand my collection so that next edition comes out or next codex comes out or there's a points adjustment or something, that all of a sudden those units become better, I just have them on hand, right?
It's nice.
And I don't have to build them. I just keep them around if I need them.
And the thing is that when stuff becomes good, because a lot of times it's just the cycle, you know what I mean?
This is a cyclic thing. Yeah, it's like a circle.
Yep. Yeah. So speaking of the cycle, completely non-40K, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. Has anybody watched the first couple episodes of Wheel of Time?
I was just thinking Wheel of Time because I was like, circle. I should have said wheel, like the Wheel of Time. I did.
Big fan of the books. It's been pretty decent so far. So
It's every Friday.
I think so.
Hmm.
I don't know how I feel about watching anything and not just being able to binge watch it. I'm very spoiled with the way that everything's come out on Netflix and everything like that. Anytime I
Well,
want,
Arcane was like that. Arcane did it, in installments as well, which was it was torturous but really good. Like that series was fantastic.
but I waited until, I'm not gonna lie, with the Arcane, I just waited. Any of the ones that I'm not gonna lie, unless it's something I'm super psyched about, a lot of times I just wait and then watch the whole thing because it makes the continuity's better. Continuity feels better. It's the same thing I feel about some of the Warhammer Plus stuff. I actually haven't gone into a couple of this series because I want the whole series before I watch it.
Hammer and Bolter is a little different because it's like
It's different
a bunch
stuff.
of individual,
It's
like
individuals, yeah.
individual stories. However, like the Blood Angel one, yeah, definitely. It's one that I've been watching episode to episode, but I'll probably go back and watch it all in a single, like in a binge, just to kind of get the whole story really quickly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's well,
Just to kind of really
a lot of times when you get new stuff though, it feels better when you watch them all together though, because the first couple episodes are always going to be introducing the characters, which can be slow, and and then you really get into what's happening and the story itself. And then if you watch them one after the other, you're never like, okay, well, great, I met these people. Tell me what the hell's happening. If you have multiples on it, you go on. So I do like binge watching. I understand how companies don't want you to do that though, because you're like, oh, this series, cool, watched it yesterday, unsubscribe. You know what I mean? Well, if you put them out every week, you have to obviously stay around a little bit longer. So I get it, but I just prefer, as someone that does not sleep a lot, I like to watch my late night binge watchings on my computer. Like, I could go to bed now. It's 3:30 in the morning. Or I could watch one more episode, and that seems like a way better life choice.
Yeah, 100%. Until my phone dies, and then I have to go to bed. But
this is a good question. Brad, what's the quickest you ever swapped out one whole army for a new one you didn't have? I've done it literally between in a week between tournaments when I just decided, especially if I went to a tournament and I just felt that I didn't have the right tools in the meta, and I just got it in my head that I needed to play something different. I will beg, borrow, and steal an army and just show up. I mean, I did.
Sometimes it's good to switch up what you're playing.
Well, it gives you a better sight of it. I like actually switching though.
We always give Nick shit for switching his army like right before like LVO.
Well, he doesn't practice at all, too.
And that's what I mean. That's like when you're trying to get good and be like, I need to go and I want to perform. You definitely don't want to be switching army to army. You need to have practice with a specific army. But every once in a while, you need to press that reset button. So going to an army, going blech, I didn't really like that, and then switching like the Monday that you get back from the event and going, I'm going to build a completely different army, submit it for the tournament this weekend, go to another tournament with a totally different faction. Sometimes that change of like dynamic can be very good and refreshing, and it's not a bad thing to do.
Which is back in the game.
Could give you tools to deal with the meta, or like an army that's like up and coming that's crushing your old list idea or whatever. And sometimes it's just good to go from a close combat centric army to a shooting centric army to change up like what you're using in your brain.
I mean, I jumped over from Drukhari to play some Grey Knights, and I actually think that it helped my Drukhari game too, because playing with Grey Knights gave me, these are the things that I had problems with, and then I can go, oh, if I had issues with that, then I can leverage that with other armies against the Grey Knights. But it also it lets you know what the other is. The more you know about other armies, the easier it is to defeat those armies. But it also it's sometimes you just need a different flavor, man. Sometimes you need to, even though you've been eating steak all the time, sometimes you need a burger, bro. Sometimes you need to eat, just hang out.
I would agree with that. You just need that slop.
It's just fun. I mean, it's just fun, and I do like the lore a lot. So, I want to. What does everybody think about narrative? Is there ever going to be narrative tournaments more? Because we had for a while at Nova and LVO, they were running narrative, and it seemed to be fairly popular.
Hmm.
And I have not played in the narratives, but I've always kind of wondered about them.
I think they're a great idea. Have you ever wandered through the hole in a narrative event?
Yeah.
You've seen what like the setups? The setups are fantastic, and it's really much.
They
It's
have
designed to just
fantastic,
have, you have crazy stuff.
crazy boards and stuff. They have really, really nice stuff.
I'm still of the mind that if you want to get even better competitively, you need to play narrative games.
But you know, the thing is it makes you play outside your comfort zone. That's the same
Correct.
thing with playing different armies.
Yeah.
Play different armies,
Yeah.
playing different rule type sets, and all of a sudden, you know,
Yeah.
you're
Honestly, grab your competitive tournament list and play an open war game.
Yeah.
With like a friend's competitive list, and put your list into a scenario that it's not built for at all, and see like what the capabilities of your list and your personal playstyle is. I think narrative is really good. I enjoy it a lot.
I do the narrative LVO this year. I want to say I'm not going to lie. I've many times thought of playing a lot of different events, but the problem is that usually if I'm in a championship thing, it takes the entire weekend of whatever I'm doing, and then I'm always kind of wandering at lunchtime and stuff, going, "Hey man, what's going on in here? What's happening here? I want to see. I want to see.
I want to be in the drop pod going on to Istvan 5 or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Except for the fact that it's known as the Drop Pod Massacre.
Oh, is that it? Oh no.
You're like, wait a minute. I feel like I shouldn't be in this. I got something to do, guys. I don't know if I should be in this trap.
Bad feeling about this as they land. No, but like if I go to LVO this year, I'm probably going to the championships because I haven't had a chance to really sort of like play too many like tough competition, and I really need to kind of get some practice in against like the best of the best. Yeah, like I'm going to another GT in 2 weeks. So that'll be really nice because I haven't it'll be the second GT that I've gone to this entire 2 years. So
crazy to me. You guys got
considering you guys have been you've been going to one every weekend or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, well, we also open up. Well, the thing is in the old states, we decided that Florida and Texas gave no craps about all of this in the first place, so they were like, "You want a tournament? Come on in." So.
Yeah, so second GT, so that'll be good. But if there were more narrative events, I would want to make the time to go to some of them as much as... But I'd probably take like my Black Templars to more narrative events than like my Drukhari, if that makes sense. Like I'd, because every single one of my Black Templars would have a name, and I'd have a little story for them, and,
He's got rights all over him.
Yeah, I'd literally scribble
purity
every time
seals
they had
everywhere.
A kill, I'd get like a purity seal and glue it on a dreadnought for a kill or something.
I like that a lot. I don't know, a lot of those things, because I'm like, I love the fluff too. I want to play in more of that stuff. I just wish there was more. I mean, and I'm still pushing for more team events because, man, team's still the best way to play, man.
Best way to play 40K.
It's not even close. It's just so much better in every single way. Mm-hmm. If you haven't played, and we said this before, but I'll say it again, if you haven't got a chance to play in it, if you get a chance to play in a team tournament, just check it out. It is so much fun.
You need to come out to the Canhammer team tournament, Brad.
We're planning on it, actually. We're talking about it.
You are? Amazing. Are you going to do all your soft score stuff this year?
Well, I mean, someone else will, of course, but I don't know. You keep saying these crazy things. Here's the things I do, Scary. I know I come up with fluff stuff. I come up with power lists, and I'm pretty decent at the game. And then you're like, "What about this hobby stuff?" And I'm like,
Well, if you do come, it'd be great because we'd like to beat you guys up.
You'd like to beat you guys up. It is tough if you don't have a good captain. I'll give you 100% on that. One of my favorite things is pairing, but the thing is you can play such different stuff, because if Scary has a list and it just has a bad matchup, he just doesn't play that one bad matchup.
Don't have to play that matchup,
and it makes for hyper focused lists. Though you get like really powerful lists that maybe has absolutely nothing that can kill knights, but he just doesn't play knights.
I'll tell you, I'm testing out a full single battalion Cabal Drukhari list, and it's actually pretty legit.
Like I said, I'm gonna play some Craft World. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait for the Craft World book to come out. By the way, I'm very excited about playing some of the good guys. Yeah, they're the good guys. I did the air quotes for it. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, the good guys.
Yeah,
asterisk next to it.
Yeah. We'll go with that, Brad. We'll go with that. Just like the orcs are the bad guys. Yeah.
I guess you had Vulcan. Vulcan's a good guy. He's like the only good guys. He's
okay. Vulcan, in terms of character, he's probably the most relatable.
He's like a paladin, man.
Yeah, sure.
He's currently crazy because, the Night Hunter killed him every day for a year.
So no longer a good guy.
He's not bad or good. He's just insane now. Well, that happens when, you get tortured to death every day for a year or so.
For a long time. Yeah.
It's always a bummer. What's on the agenda today? Oh, being tortured to death.
I got to kill you.
Again.
I love how this is just light conversation in the 40th millennium.
Somebody's just going to walk into somebody listening to right now on YouTube.
This just in for 40K today.
Yeah.
Torture and murder.
I really, really hope someone's significant other just walked in as we were saying that and just goes, what is even happening right now?
What are you listening to? Exactly.
Well, tell me how to live my week.
How to live your week, eh? Well, I'll tell you one thing. You better win this championship.
I'm on
That's how you're gonna win this. That's how you're gonna live up to it. You need to dethrone Mr. Siegler and show him who the true Drukhari
I can't,
generals are.
I can't.
Like Archon Starry himself is sending you an envoy.
I can't beat him
as
because
a representative.
Siegs literally won the last tournament and then fled to Europe for 2 weeks.
So he's not even going to be there.
He's not going to be there. Yeah. He smoke bombed.
Default. No.
I'm gonna put up a little.
Have fun in Europe.
I'm gonna put up a little poster of him and be like, "I beat him. I wrecked him."
Can you know what you could do? Make sure that your opponent wears a Richard Siegler name tag. Done.
All of the goodness, all of the time. Well, as usual, everybody, thanks for hanging with us on 40K today. Throw up anything you want to talk about. Take it easy now.